Hey everyone, in this video I will be presenting more context and information and data points around the EV industry in China so that you as an investor have better understanding of what's going on. Yesterday I did a chart comparing NIO and Xiaopeng and the January sales, and I pointed out how there is confusion around the Chinese New Year that is this year at a different time than it was last year. So this results in different year-over-year growth rates. And also I pointed out how actually the numbers for NIO weren't too bad here with a 23% growth from holiday season to holiday season, comparing that instead of the month over month. So correcting these numbers there and highlighting it. And here I make this data complete now by also adding Tesla on top of it. I also found the data now, and basically you can see here, these are the Tesla China only, so the local deliveries for 2021, 2022, and 2023. And while there is a huge year-over-year growth from January, so last year they sold around 19,000 and now 25,000. This is a huge increase, and I think is maybe partly due maybe the new incentives with the price decreases. And second of all, I think Tesla is doing a justification here a little bit and prioritizing mainland China earlier this time in the quarter. Usually they use the first weeks of a quarter to actually only deliver to overseas for exporting. But if you also look a little bit into the details, so actually comparing the February of last year, which was the Chinese New Year, to the February this year, then Tesla only grew 11% from holiday period over holiday period. So one could say, well, NIO is actually growing faster over the same sort of comparison metric here than Tesla, 23% growth versus 11% growth. Once again, this puts a little bit of context to the NIO numbers there. But I also want to point out here that really it's also an example of why, just taking monthly data in different companies doesn't really justify things to make things too easy to explain. So yesterday I saw the articles around, the Tesla price cuts make the whole car industry, the Chinese NEVs, tank 60%, 50%, 40%. But this is too short of an explanation in my point of view. And it's also got here, even this table showing that NIO is actually growing faster than Tesla during that period. You need to always recognize that, for example, Tesla was also in those years back then in a different modus of ramping up. So you can see in January only 19,000 and then 23,000 in February despite Chinese New Year. So there was a larger increase during that time, even despite Chinese New Year, right? So these short-term comparisons are really lacking a lot of data here, or let's say sentiment and context in order to make a real let's say a determination where things are going. I would rather say, if one thing's for sure, February numbers year over year for 2023 will likely be up. I would not be surprised if we see, for example, for NIO or for Tesla, 100% year over year growth numbers for February, and that's simply because the Chinese New Year was in January this time already. So February will be a stronger one, although still affected by the overall problems in China with the economy that I've pointed out, with China reopening, with bigger tickets like houses and cars taking a little bit more time for recovery. And I'm taking this sheet here to show you, for example, here, this is the vehicle wholesale for December versus January, so a month over month comparison. And you can see that in December last year, BYD sold or delivered 234,000 cars wholesale here. And that's down to 110,000 in January. So that's more than a 50% decrease. Actually, the same for Tesla. Tesla had 55,796 cars in December, now down to 25,000. That's more that's a more than a 50% decrease. For NIO, it's also a decrease, so 15,000 to 9,600 here. Xpeng 11,000 to 4,700. You get my point. It's basically the entire industry that is down month over month. Nothing to do with the Tesla price cuts. Instead, I think, and I'm a Tesla investor, but I have to be rational here and say that Tesla really was running dry on orders. So you can see this here. This is a chart estimating the Tesla order backlog. And the red part is actually China. And you can see how this got almost not noticeable anymore. So basically, Tesla did not have any orders which they could fulfill anymore, and that's why they did the price cuts. It's not like that they wanted to do that, they had to do it, and that's because of the whole macro situation that I've explained before. And so the price cuts certainly will help Tesla to ramp production and to have more deliveries again. I think we basically already had the news yesterday, although it's just a rumor and the sources are questionable, but it was published by Reuters that Tesla's increasing production size in Shanghai again for looking for 20,000 weekly orders or deliveries, I think, if I remember it correctly. But anyways, this is giving you hopefully more context of what's going on in the entire industry. It's not looking very bright in China right now, but these are the facts, and there are reasons for it. And you can, have a deeper look into the data, and then you'll see, for example, that NIO hasn't been doing that badly here at all. But on the other hand, of course, these are not the exciting numbers that everyone wishes to hear at that point in time. If you remember, 2021 to 2022, NIO was actually growing December over January. That's something which rarely happens, but they managed to do that. Anyways, can be explained with seasonality, can be explained with the economic downturn and recovery from zero COVID policy. And going forward, we will see more support also from the government again. I made a video about that. The MIT is already thinking about extending the EV subsidies. Local governments have already started to implementing some, and over the last couple of days we have more voices, including Li Keqiang, I think was it, coming out saying, look, we need to boost demand and consumption in the car market. So let's see what's going on, and I think it will naturally recover, and this may take some time. So that's it for now. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.